10 products, 2 lists, 5 brands quietly bleeding your bank account for gains you'll never notice on the course, and 5 that actually deserve the money. We're talking UK markups north of 60%, performance differences measured in fractions of a yard, and depreciation that would make a used car salesman blush. From drivers and putters to irons and golf balls, we've pulled the independent data, ignored the marketing speak, and ranked them all. The 5 worst offenders come first, and number 5 is a driver you've almost certainly been talked into. In the 5th place, Taylor. Made's Qi 4D driver sets the tone for modern golf's annual upgrade circus. The UK price tag lands at $639.99, a full 43% higher than the US sticker. And for what? According to the St Andrews robot, the Qi 4D offers a grand total of 1.4 yards over last year's model, barely enough to move your ball marker, let alone your handicap. Resale value after 2 years sits at 78%, so nearly a quarter of your investment vanishes before you've even lost your first head cover. Yet pro shops line the shelves, the launch events roll out, and club golfers are nudged toward the latest must with promises of revolutionary gains. Dr. David Sutherland of the Performance Lab calls it masterclass in marketing over measurable advantage. The cycle repeats, new paint, new price, same old numbers. For the British golfer, it's a lesson in paying more and getting less, unless you truly believe that a single extra yard justifies a mortgage-level outlay. In the 4th place, Titleist Pro V1 golf balls have become the lost ball luxury tax of the British game. The average UK price for a dozen sits at £44.30, a full 27% higher than the US shelf price. That is not a rounding error. That is nearly a tenner extra just for the privilege of playing a ball you'll likely send into the gorse by the 7th. Lab tests from Surrey Turf found the Pro V1 delivers a grand total of half a yard more carry than its closest mid-range rival. Not a misprint, half a yard. Yet the Pro V1 remains the default in every pro shop, propped up by tour sponsorships and the illusion that you're buying a secret weapon, not a logo. Resale reality bites as well. A box opened today loses 32% of its value the moment you list it on eBay. As Oliver Grant from the Clubhouse Review put it, you're not paying for performance, you're paying for the badge and the chance to feel like Rory, at least until your next lost ball. For the average British golfer, that is a steep price for a placebo effect. In 3rd place, Callaway's Apex AI 200 irons roll out the red carpet for artificial intelligence, but the show barely gets past the foyer. The UK price for a 5-iron set is £1,249, nearly half again as much as the US sticker, 47% markup that's hard to chalk up to shipping or VAT alone. The pitch, of course, is all about AI-designed faces and machine-learned sweet spots, but when the Edinburgh Fitting Centre put them through a TrackMan session, the numbers were as underwhelming as a rain-soaked medal round. Average carry increased by 1 yard. Spin dropped by just 25 revolutions per minute. Andy Bull summed it up best. The tech talk is loud, but the actual difference is a whisper. For anyone hoping to recoup some of that outlay, the trade-in desk delivers another reality check. These irons lose 20% of their value the moment you walk out the pro shop door. It's a slick package, alright, high-gloss AI graphics, launch events, and fitting centre fanfare. But for the British golfer, it's a lesson in how a buzzword can cost you hundreds without offering more than a token gain. If you're buying into the AI revolution, just know you're paying for the label, not a leap in your game. In the 2nd place, PXG's 905 driver and 2001 irons take the boutique pricing myth to its logical extreme. The UK sticker for the 905 driver lands at a jaw-dropping £4,266, 41% higher than the already eye-watering US tag. For that sum, you would expect a club that practically swings itself. Yet when Leeds University's robot range put the 905 up against mainstream drivers, the result was a dead heat. Not a single yard gained, not a single handicap dropped. The same story plays out with the 2001 irons, hand-finished, individually numbered and all the rest. But when the numbers come in, there is no measurable advantage over a set that costs half as much. The real kicker comes when you try to sell, According to Golf Bidder and eBay UK, PXG's flagship gear loses 55% of its value in the first year. That is not a typo. Over £2,000 evaporates before the club even had a winter regrip. Rachel Edwards' analysis of PXG's UK pricing calls it a luxury tax with no engineering dividend. A verdict echoed by the Competition and Markets Authority, which flagged the brand's markup as pure prestige play. PXG's marketing leans hard on the handcrafted narrative, the promise of exclusivity, the idea that you are buying into something more than mere equipment. But when the robot finished swinging and the resale market had its say, what is left is a club that costs more than a family holiday, delivers no extra distance, and sheds value faster than a lost ball in the burn. For the British golfer, it is the sharpest reminder yet. You cannot buy a better game, but you can pay a fortune trying. And finally, in first place, the Scotty Cameron Newport 2 putter stands as the ultimate emblem of prestige pricing in British golf. The UK retail tag for the standard blade sits at £381, a full 63% higher than the US sticker, £233 for the same chunk of milled steel. CNC finished just like every mid-market rival. Yet the price is only the start of the story. When the Golfworks Putt Lab ran the Newport 2 against the Cleveland Huntington and Odyssey Stroke Lab, the numbers were a study in sameness. The Cameron posted a 3.2mm RMS error, the Cleveland 3.5, that's 1/3 of a millimetre in precision for 3 times the money, a rounding error dressed up as a revolution. No hidden magic, no secret sauce, just a badge and a narrative. But the real emotional tax shows up at the till and in the clubhouse. A recent survey found 22% of Scotty Cameron buyers admit they're after status, not performance. The putter becomes less a tool, more a totem, something to flash at the first tee, to cradle in the locker room, to signal that you're not just playing golf, you're playing the part. Laura Mason, a club fitter from Surrey, summed it up. For some, it's about feeling like you belong to a certain tribe. The numbers don't matter, only the badge does. Resale is the only consolation. The Newport 2 holds about 70% of its original value after 2 years, a figure that outpaces almost every other putter in the market. But that's cold comfort for the average British golfer who's shelled out nearly £400 for a club that, in real terms, won't help them hole a single extra putt. The verdict is clear. The Scotty Cameron Newport 2 is less a putter, more a membership card. For those who want engineering, it's a masterclass in paying for the myth. For those who want status, it's the most expensive ticket in town. In the 5th place, sub-70 Golf's driver and irons mark a turning point for anyone fed up with the endless cycle of hype and markup. The UK price for the sub-70 driver 2 lands at £1,192, a 53% markup over the US tag, but still well below the so-called premium crowd. What sets sub-70 apart isn't a glossy tour sponsorship or a celebrity ambassador. It's the direct-to-consumer model. No middlemen, no pro shop padding, just honest pricing. Midland's robot cart data shows a 1.5-yard gain over the latest TaylorMade. Not a revolution, but a real measurable edge for the average club golfer. Mike Wright at the North Berwick Fitting Centre calls it the first brand where the numbers actually justify the spend. Add in a 90% resale rate and a 60-day money-back guarantee, and suddenly the risk of buyer remorse all but vanishes. For British golfers, sub-70 is proof that real value still exists if you know where to look and aren't distracted by the usual badge and bluster. Number 4. Cleveland SIB-EX and Zipcore wedges quietly sidestep the arms race of badge and bluster, delivering spin that's within touching distance of the tour's most hyped models, without the wallet to shock. The UK shelf price for a CBX wedge lands at £114, which is a 24% markup over the US tag, but still a world away from the 3-figure premiums you'll see hanging off the likes of Vokey or TaylorMade. When Loughborough's spin chamber put the CBX and Zipcore up against the Vokey SM10, the Cleveland models spun just 2% less, a margin so slim that only the most obsessive club tinkerers would notice it on a damp April green. Sarah Iverson, a regular in the Golf Monthly test panels, summed it up. If you're paying double for a badge, you're not buying more spin, you're buying a story. On the resale front, Cleveland wedges hold 85% of their value after 2 years, so your investment does not vanish with the next product launch. For club golfers who want short game gear that performs at the sharp end without raiding the savings, this is the rare case where the numbers and the price actually add up. Number 3. Mizuno's Japex hot metal irons hold a rare position in the British golf market, a premium set where the price actually reflects what's inside the head. The UK sticker shock is real, £1,149 for a 5-iron set, a full 47% markup over the US price. But what you get isn't just a badge or a sorry. The real difference comes from the Japanese forging process, a tradition that's less about marketing and more about material science. Sheffield's metallurgy study on clubhead grain structure found that Mizuno's forging delivers a feel and consistency that mass-market cast irons simply can't match. Launch monitors at St Andrews show a 12.5-degree launch angle and 166.6 mph ball speed, numbers that put the JPX right up with the most expensive tour models. But the real kicker for the club golfer is in the long-term value. After 2 years, JPX hot metal irons hold on to 65% of their original price, a world away from the 20% drops you see with the annual churners. Dr. Keiko Tanka, a materials engineer, put it plainly: in golf, engineering outlasts advertising. Forging is a process, not a pitch. For British players who want their investment to pay back every time they strike a ball, and when it's time to trade in, Mizuno's engineering earns its keep. The price is high, but here you're buying feel, performance, and stability, not just a logo. That's why in a market full of Zomaken mirrors, Mizuno sits near the top for those who want their money to work as hard as their swing. Number 2. Kirkland signature golf balls have become the club golfer's secret handshake, a nod to those who would rather pocket the savings than chase a logo. The UK price for a dozen sits at £19.64, which, even after a 40% import markup over the US shelf price, still makes it the cheapest tour-style urethane ball you can buy on these shores. The real story, though, is what you get for that 20 quid. Belfast's indoor range numbers put the Kirkland within a third of a yard carry of the Pro V1, and spin rates fall inside a 5% margin, numbers that, frankly, most club golfers couldn't separate in a blind test if their next pint depended on it. Influencer verdicts have been equally blunt. Rick Shields called it the only ball I'd happily lose twice in a round and not feel mugged at the till. That's the point. These are balls you can afford to actually play, not just admire in the sleeve. Buy in bulk and you're shaving pounds off every round, not just pence. For the British golfer who's tired of paying extra for a badge and the illusion of a secret edge, Kirkland offers a rare moment of honesty. No fairy tales, no tour story, just a ball that does the job for half the outlay. In a market built on hype and annual upgrades, it is a reminder that sometimes the best value is the one hiding in plain sight, stacked high onto a warehouse shelf, quietly making a mockery of golf's most expensive traditions. And finally, in first place, Maltby's component build route stands as the last honest answer in a market obsessed with logos and launch events. Here, every pound is accounted for, no mystery markups, no badge tax, just a clear itemised bill. The numbers are blunt. A full Maltby driver build, priced retail at £2,599, can be assembled part by part for £1,850. That's £749 left in your account, not in the Pro Shop till. The breakdown is transparent, head, shaft, grip and assembly all listed separately, with no hidden surcharges for tour-proven paint jobs or celebrity endorsements. The real kicker is performance. When Golfworks put a Maltby build-up against a Callaway flagship on the Trackman, the difference in ball speed was a laughable 0.2 mph. Not 2 mph, 0.2. That's the margin you'd expect from a half-decent warm-up, not a £1,000 price gap. For the club golfer, that means every drive and iron shot is competing on level terms, without the need to buy into the annual upgrade circus. Resale, often the Achilles' heel of niche brands, holds up better than most would guess. Head-only Maltby builds retain around 80% of their value after a year, outpacing the majority of mass-market rivals, especially once the next must-have model drops. Pauline Reed, who's spent 2 decades fitting clubs for Golfworks, calls the playability factor system the only honest measure left in the game. It's engineering, not theatre. For the British golfer who's tired of paying for fairy tales and status signals, Maltby's component build is the ultimate act of consumer rebellion. You get the numbers, the performance, and the satisfaction of knowing your money went into your game, not someone else's marketing budget. In a sport where every pound counts, this is the value king, engineering over hype, and a final verdict that's as clear as the invoice. Across all 10 brands, one pattern stands out. Price tags and prestige rarely match what lands on the fairway. In UK golf, engineering and honesty are routinely drowned out by marketing and margin. Every pound spent is a choice, real performance or empty status. In the end, the only thing that should impress is your scorecard, not your logo. Let me know below. What kit actually earned its place in your bag?